and loves playing in his own shit. He's exactly like my grandpa. The only difference is when the dog runs away in December, we want to find him. But he's a nice addition. Alzheimer's. He's a nice addition to our family, though, because last year we had to put down 2 dogs. The one we knew was sick for a while. He was sleeping 23 hours a day, so we just figured, what's another hour? And, okay, nobody really tells time down here. When my dogs died, my friend Katie, she called me up and she was like, Sal, I know exactly what you're going through. When my dog died, I didn't shower for 3 weeks. I was like, Katie, were you trying to get over your dog or smell like it? And she was like, that's not funny. You know my dog died of AIDS. And I said, Katie, that's crazy, because I didn't even know your dog was gay. Being gay is cool. John, do not upload this online. I'm telling you that shit right now. No, but being gay is cool until people start making fun of you for things you love doing for fun. Like on my way here, some guy outside called me a cocksucker. And I had to explain to him, like, listen, if you're going to make fun of someone, it can't be with their favorite pastime. This is going lovely. Perfect night to do this. I know I don't look like a typical gay guy. I have the face of a hate crime waiting to happen. But it's weird because I look like the suspect but sound like the victim. It's a great joke. I am happy gay marriage is legalized across the United States. But I'm not happy for equality. Thank you, the NSYNC 3. But I'm not happy for equality, I'm happy for sanitary reasons. Like now gay guys all over Texas get to exchange rings that are actually meant for their fingers. It's a great joke if you know about cock rings. I personally can't wait to watch Gay Divorce Court. Right? It's going to be interesting to see which guy gets to keep the gerbil. John, that snicker, that was adorable. But it inspires me when some monumental gay shit happens, because I didn't have those options. I had to come out the old-fashioned way, in my suicide note. So I learned to develop a thick skin fast. When I first moved to New York City, I had a cashier tell me that I looked like a Make-A-Wish kid that lived too long. I know, yeah, that was one to process. That's one for the walk home. But I do give a lot of credit to people with special needs. Is NERUDA down here?
Yeah, right here.
Alright, hey boy! I do give a lot of credit to people with special needs. Like, we just had our first girl with Down syndrome walk at New York Fashion Week, which is absolutely incredible. But I overheard this couple behind me talking about her. They were like, we feel so bad for her because of her condition. I was like, you can't feel bad for her because she has Down syndrome. She had the highest IQ on that runway. Alright, are we ready for comedy?
I'm a serious individual. No. I don't drink whiskey all night. No. I think about important things. I change the world. And then, like, 3 beers later, I'm open mic. They're like, this nigga's a piece of shit. It's a horrible human being. I thought he had so much substance. Nah, man. I'm just flesh and blood, man. That's what this is. I don't know. It's Black History Month and it's rough for me. Black History Month is rough for me. It's a rough thing for me because every Black History Month, every time I go through a breakup. Because I feel like it's disrespectful to date a white girl during Black History Month. Damn it. Another one bites the dust, kid. Another. I try to get back, Try to get back in March. Try to be like, yo, let's do this again. Let's try this again. But I never get over it. Can we have a moment of silence for black people that lost last night? Right? Because that was more than a game. That wasn't just a football game. That was the fight for freedom. Like Beyonce put out the war cry on Saturday. And then General Cam was supposed to take us across the border. And he failed. He lost to Omaha. And that's okay. That's okay. I don't, there's a lot of pressure for that guy, a little kid. He's a fucking kid, dude. What is he, 25, 26? 26. 26. I love him. I was like, 26. It's a grown-ass man. He's supposed to save us. It was on his big, broad shoulders. And he fucking failed. Yeah, I understand, Cal, I understand.
So the rest of America thinks, they're so great. But I just saw Dr. Phil where the woman thought she was a prophet, had 4 children she neglected, quit her job, and married a reformed gay man. So they're killing it out there. All right. I can't see anything. I have a notebook. You're all going to have to deal. I don't have an iPhone, whatever you people do. I saw a woman with a bumper sticker that said, I ran a marathon. And I'm like, big deal. I ran out of hope in 1995. So I've gotten to the age where it used to be at my job when someone truly incompetent got a raise or a promotion, I was upset. And now I'm like, that's about right. Okay. I don't like any of these jokes, honestly. I have to tell you the truth.
Acted to the Black History Month commercial rotation. You know what I mean? Like, okay, this is not the right crowd for saying, but like, cause I just saw for Black History Month, like literally, like every commercial they have to like shoehorn in like a fucking black fact. They're like, love the taste of Budweiser. By the way, Billy D. Williams sold Coke for 45. Black people, like they do that every fucking commercial, and it could have been a bomb-ass commercial. Like, I could have been watching New York One, they would have just been, like, sneaking cam facts in. Like, it would have been great. But he ruined it. Literally, like, after the, like, fucking 4th fumble, I was like, Massa, no! Peyton's gonna win! Like, it was so deep for me. It was so deep and unnecessary. But it was a thing. That whole, like, Super Bowl is a testament to whiteness. It really was. Like, fucking Coldplay. Coldplay was the Coldplay of the Super Bowl. Like, can we fucking agree on this? It was ridiculous. And, like, I was just pissed because it was, like, fucking Coldplay. And then you had Beyonce and Bruno Mars as, like, the minority dream team backup squad. Yeah. And, like, fucking, let's talk about how, like, Coldplay barely even dressed up. Meanwhile, like, fucking Bruno Mars and Beyonce, they wore, like, some fucking, like, 1990s Michael and Janet Jackson, like, backup dancer pleather outfit. Like, they were sweating as fuck. They were sweating their asses off. And Coldplay was like, I'm just gonna wear a t-shirt and Gwyneth Paltrow's old jeans and I'm all set. Like, he put in no fucking effort. There was no effort. Meanwhile, fucking Bruno Mars, if you look closely, there was literally like a rivulet of sweat. Like, I saw like shea butter run down his cheek as he was performing. And Coldplay's just like, I'm cool, I'm wearing white and not sweating through it. Like, except he didn't even do that because he has no rhythm. Like, I was like, what the fuck? I was angry. Whew, topical references. I'll move this over here so I feel like I've finished something. I've been feeling a little down, like a little sad. Like not like super sad, Like not like, post a meme at 2 a.m. on Facebook sad. Like not that sad. But I'm feeling a little down. Cause I fucked up so many of my like New Year's resolutions. But the one that I have been keeping, which I've been doing pretty good at, my resolution is more drugs and Steelers. It's been pretty well at that. Because like a month ago, I got a text from my dealer who's like, how are you doing and how's comedy going? And I was like, my mom doesn't even ask this. Like this, we are too close. Also, how are you, D-Money? Like I just wanted to check in on him. I recently had to go and buy weed from a dealer who had a car, which that was new. It felt like that was an upgrade. Usually it's like a white guy with like one massive dreadlock riding a bike. But I was like, hey, you got a car and it's an Acura, what? So I got in his Acura to go and buy this weed. And first of all, like he has like several kinds of weed. Like it's like, here's like Khalifa Kush and like here's like Purple Haze and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I only know 2 kinds of weed. I know with seeds or without seeds. Like, that's it. I keep it simple. You know, I just want more bang for my buck, so without seeds, please. And then he's like, oh, by the way, I also run a cleaning service. And he like fucking takes out a pamphlet from his glove compartment, and it's clearly like, it was the most like shittily made pamphlet ever. Like, he clearly made it like Microsoft Works 1995, you know what I mean? Where you see that like budget ass clip art where you're like, this is literally just a maple leaf. Like, this isn't even a marijuana leaf. And it was like a piece of construction paper folded into thirds. And like, I don't even want to be a font snob, but it was in like fucking Courier New. You know what I mean? Like, you can't do Helvetica, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, make it easy on the eyes. And like, he had the pamphlet, and he gave you the pamphlet, and the pamphlet actually had a pie chart in it, where the pie chart had like fucking a breakdown of like where all the profits were going. So it was like 20% of the weed profits go to Swiffer, and like 50% go, and I was like, I don't need all of this. Like, I'm not your tax man. And he was like, no, you know, you should really like just use my service, you know, while you smoke my weed. Which I'm like, I'm not gonna fucking be high and let a stranger in my house to clean it. That doesn't sound like a good proposition. Like, maybe you'll clean my house out of all its valuables, but like, that's pretty much it. I don't trust you.
Cartoon monkeys. And I spent my entire morning like drafting an open letter to Google of like, how could you do, it's lunar, it's the new year, it's a Chinese thing. I'm such an, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't know until today. I was walking and I saw a thing that was like, Happy New Year, like Year of the Monkey. And I was like, oh, I spent 12 hours being angry on behalf of not me because I'm an idiot. I'm just an idiot. But also you're welcome. I'm from the South. I grew up in the South. I hate, like, there are a lot of misconceptions that Southerners have of Northerners and Northerners have of Southerners. Like, I hate when people up North say that people down South are racist. And I hate when people down South say that people up North are rude. They're both right. I just hate when they say it. It's true, but it's like the people up North, like, yeah, everybody here is rude, but the people who are polite are so much more polite than they ever were in the South. Like the other day, I was walking to work, and I was running late, so I cut through the park, and there was like a sea of pigeons blocking my way. So I was trying not to step on them. I was like kind of tripping over my own feet, trying to get around all these pigeons. And this man from across the park saw me and just shouts out, he goes, "Hey, come on!" And all the pigeons flocked to him. Like, he was the pigeon man. That's so sweet. That's so polite. You know, like in the South, like, yeah, I've had people like hold the door open for me. I've never had somebody speak the language of the animals to make sure I got to work on time. It was so sweet. It was so nice. New York is tricky. I am realizing, like, so my first year in New York, I lived with this man who, okay, let me back. So, the other day, have you ever looked up the registered sex offenders in your neighborhood? Because I hadn't, and then I decided to. And it turns out in my neighborhood where I live now, very few. And then I decided to look up in the neighborhood where I lived when I first moved here. And I saw a dot that was like very close to where I lived. And I was like, that's weird. And then I zoomed in, and it turns out it was the place where I lived. So I Googled the man. It was like my dad's cousin or something who I was living with. So I Googled his name. Turns out he's a convicted pedophile. Which, what a terrible way to realize you're getting older. You know what I mean? Like, not only did he not try anything with me, nobody warned me. Nobody thought, like, he had to tell all the neighbors, you know, nobody at any point was like, hey, maybe just so you know, like, no, they were like, you're 20, whatever, you'll be fine. Which is it's a terrible way. Poor me.
Well, upset because, you know, we have Black History Month, but this black dude came over and he was like, he started quizzing me. He was like, yeah, happy Black History Month. And then he was like, do you know when Martin Luther King Jr., where Martin Luther King Jr. was murdered? And I was a little drunk, so I said Tampa, which isn't where he died at all. I think if Martin Luther King Jr. was murdered in Tampa, that'd be a much different story, you know? Because like, there are a lot of baseball teams in Florida and in Tampa, and I feel like that's the deepest part of the South, you know? Like if he was murdered at a hotel in Tampa, we'll probably been looking some baseball field where some Dominican players weren't allowed to play, you know, something. I don't know, I'm a native New Yorker, and a lot of immigrants here, so many that one neighborhood alone contains the second largest population for that group of people outside of their country. Now you guys know in China, there are 1 billion people, and in Chinatown, there are only 2 billion. My mom doesn't really like that joke. She always says, if you don't have anything nice to say, then you're just like your father. I'm feeling a little depressed. I don't really like the saying people say black don't crack, you know, like we never age. Like black people don't age. I think black cracks. Black cracks psychologically. Like if anybody wanted to ever like get some skincare tips from me, I'd be like, oh, I drink water every day, put on fresh cocoa butter, and oh my God, why are the walls bleeding? Something like that. I walk dogs to the same company as Ariel. The worst part for me about walking dogs is knowing that I have to leave this nice loft as soon as I'm done walking the dog. You know, it's such a nice place. Like I realized that the other day when I was walking this one dog, and they live in a penthouse, and the dog got away, and it ran upstairs, it ran to the floor that the elevator stops on, and it ran all the way downstairs. So I saw 3 different floors of places that I'm not allowed to live in. You know, it's a weird thing. And I'm not used to a doorman either. You know, the closest thing in my neighborhood I have to a doorman is a camera. You know, like I have a camera that faces me as soon as I enter the building. And then the only way I know I'm checked into that building is the strong scent of urine. And then I leave that place and no one asks me, you know, if I'm leaving or anything.
A woman upstairs made me get a drink, so made me feel important, kind of. Yeah, okay. A lot of times I go to comedy shows and I ask just like to get the cheapest beer, and then they're like, oh honey, like you can totally just use the bathroom if you want to. Like they don't think that I'm there to do comedy. Nobody does. Okay, that's fine. Sure. Okay. My dad has seen me bomb on stage before, and so now nothing else hurts me. I've felt all of the feelings, but just been able to turn around, and I said, you cannot hear smiles, Dad. You can't hear smiles. You guys know ladies that wear their bun like all the way on top of their head? Just think that's an indication of how not chill they are. That's true. It's true. It's a true story from my life. It's a true story from my life. Hey, you guys, I got an airport joke. You guys, you know those little radiation machines? Don't use them, okay? Because if you opt for the full body pat down, that is an intimate massage, you know? And sometimes you're traveling for a long time and you just want to be touched. So opt for the pat down. Also, you don't want radiation, just some advice. I got an airplane joke. I like to be on the airplane, and then I just dramatically ask around if there's a doctor. Like, is there a doctor on the plane? Is there a doctor on the plane? I got a mole and I want to know if it has cancer because I do not have health insurance. Yup. Also, transition to a Planned Parenthood joke. I got a Planned Parenthood joke. Planned Parenthood changed my life. this nice doctor, she says that this is not a mole. In fact, it's a third nipple. And it's very important for me to know because it's changed my mentality on everything, because I did some further research. Apparently if you have extra nipples, it's like atavism from the past. You got some prior knowledge from when people were apes and like rats, and they had mammal nipples of like 9 of them. Okay, if you have more, that means you're clairvoyant about your past and the future. And it just has me really considering how I live in the present. It's all those things.
Are these people crazy? I know what the fuck lemons are. You don't have to put the definition on the bag like it's a rare third world fruit. Those are kiwis, right? Are dozens of people walking in the supermarkets like, where are those things lemonade comes from? Oh, this? How do you open this? It smells like a hotel bathroom. Are you fucking with me? Like, is that really happening? I don't think so. You know what they really need to help us out with, or help me out with, is the green section of the supermarket. You guys ever been there, comedians?
Yeah.
You know how many times I've been trying to get lettuce, almost ended up with spinach? That romaine lettuce needs to take it down a notch. Now I'm trying to get spinach and kale is everywhere. I just made it up to spinach. I'm not ready for the super nutrients in kale yet. I'm gonna have to find a white guy to help me out. Like, hey Brian, which one is the kale? Yo, someone did that to me the other day. For real, I was in the supermarket, I was like buying groceries like everybody else, and this woman came up to me with no hesitation and said, hey, you look Caribbean, which bananas do I need to buy to boil in water? I'm like, what? Okay, slow down, Paula Dean. First of all, everyone says I look African, and second of all, you're 100% correct. Family's from Jamaica, and you have to get the green banana, boil it for half an hour. You need a recipe, right? So that's how I hit on girls now. Like, hey, you look American. Which ones are the lemons? Speaking of hitting on girl, I do online dating sometimes, right? And some white women will write white men only in their profiles. Right, yeah. I teach I teach people new things. Yeah, man, because their vagina is a water fountain from the 50s. That's why they do it. Listen, man, I don't have online dating for guys is a numbers game. I don't have time for racial preferences. I email them back anyway. I'm like, hey, heard you're into white guys. Me too. Eli Manning, the Beatles are cool. Let's have brunch in a gentrified part of town. You know how like people get stereotypes in their head about, different people, different races, and it fucks them up. Stuff like, oh, don't date Native Americans because they all own casinos and they're rich. That's what my Native American friend told me. Listen, are you alright? Yeah. See, that's what happens on a real show. That's not all comics.
Oh man, Gina left. She was talking about third nipples. I was binge watching this show, Medieval Times, on Netflix, and they had a scene where this woman was being they were trying to accuse her of being a witch, and the telltale sign of being a witch was if you had a third nipple. And and I was like, and which basically was just like a mole anywhere on your chest. But I was like, this is so fucked up and closed mind. Look at how women have been treated. That stuff was fucked up back then.
And then I read an article online that someone had posted on Facebook that said that people with ring fingers longer than their index fingers are cheaters. So we really haven't come that far, I don't think. And yeah, this mic is really hard, but granted I've never really said any of this stuff on stage, so let's see. I'm a little out of it. I bartended the Super Bowl last night. Yeah, I didn't give a fuck who won. I didn't give a fuck about it, but not because I don't care about football, but because I had so much money invested in different Super Bowl boxes that all I cared about was like the last 2 digits of the scores, you know? I was like, I had split so many Super Bowl boxes with so many different people. I was like a Super Bowl box whore. Do you guys know about Super Bowl boxes?
No.
Yeah.
They're great, aren't they? They're like, so you like, there's like 100 boxes, you pick a box, and then each box is assigned random numbers, like 1 for each team, and if the last 2 digits of the score work out that way, you win money, and they do it quarterly. I won like so much money the past 2 years, and this year I lost like, you know, maybe several $100s, but it was so rough, like gambling, like that high, you definitely are always chasing it. I've been looking forward to this. I was looking forward to the Super Bowl all year. I was like, man, Game of Thrones is coming up and the Super Bowl is coming up. I finally have something to live for. I have something to be excited about. This is amazing. Let's see, what else? I'm just gonna go. Oh, last night at work, this guy came up to me and he was like, "Oh my God, you're a comic? Oh my God, that's so amazing." He's like, "Okay, I'm not gonna ask you to tell me a joke because I know that's really annoying, but tell me something about your night tonight. You know, maybe it could be a little funny, maybe, but just something that will make me want to see more of you." I was like, this is way more annoying. Like, what is it gonna take? What do I need to say so that you'll never want to see me again? That's really how I want to do that. Yeah, people are stupid. So dating is so rough, you know, it is. Dating is brutal, but at least my therapist wants to see me twice a week. So that's nice. He's like, "Kate, I think we should start seeing you twice a week." I was like, "Oh my God, I never thought you would ask." Okay, how about we work towards me like living on the couch and then your apartment? I'll come twice a week there, if not a lot more. It's really stupid.
Classify certain information. Like, it's come out to me, like, since I've gotten older, that in her younger years, my mom used to bang, like, a lot of professional athletes. Like, that's come out. Like, since it's been, like, 40 years, my family now thinks it's okay to just, like, declassify the Wilt Chamberlain file in, like, my mom's history. And, like, the thing that's upsetting about it to me is, like, my mom's, like, a good-looking woman, but she's not, like bagging professional athletes, like, good-looking, do you know what I mean? So it means that, like, the way that she made the squad was just through, like, character and hustle. Like, I don't want to know that. Like, I don't want to know, like, what statistical category, like, she made up for her looks in. Do you know what I mean? Just, like, the elite skill that she brought to the table. Thanks, Greg.
And make things more expensive. People see that and they take other people out, and those people have to go. Comfortability level, and that's where like the whole race thing comes into play. You know? Like, people are very set into their like comfortable ways, and it makes it tough for me, like, when I'm just hanging out by myself, having a good time. I was walking behind this one white lady, just in the daytime, minding my own business, headphones in the air. She turned around, I smiled, and she grabbed her purse. And I was like, you know, if I want your purse, I can just fucking take your purse. Like, it's not that hard, you know what I mean? Like, I've never seen like a robbery foiled by someone doing this. You know what I mean? Like, wait, you know, what the fuck? I've never been like, some dude was like, man, I was about to rob her purse, but like, take her purse, but she turned. And I was like, fuck it, you know what I mean? Like, it's not doing that shit. Like, I got so angry that I let her keep her purse. Just so I can keep it, you know? Now I took that shit. Fuck it. You don't want to be that much of an idiot. I'll fucking take it. You know? That's when I start to kind of understand the whole race thing with like. So one thing like white people get over everyone else, over any person of color, not just black people, is that you get to enjoy life. Does that make sense? Like, you just get to enjoy life. Like I seen this white lady. She stopped, smelled the roses, and just walked away. And in my head, I was like, oh my god, they actually fucking do that shit. Like I've never seen that happen before. Like growing up in the hood, like I've never seen a couple of thug dudes like, yo, I'm about to pop a cap in this nigga, right? Yo, these chrysanthemums off the fucking chain, my nigga. Like I've never seen that before, you know? Yo, these sunflowers are fucking radiant, you know? But you think, you know, it's one of those things that like when you see that change, you're like, oh, this is how I grew up, and this is how this is, how it is now. It's one thing I just have to realize, I try to understand is the thing that any person of color, you know, brown, black, Asian, even though people think that you're colored, but like, you know, you're colored, like you're one of us, you know, is understand that. Now, if you guys can like look at any person of color here and just look at them for a second, white people just look at them and be like, it's one thing I realize that we don't like you, but we don't want harm to come to you. Like, you know, does that make sense? You know, like we don't want harm to come to you at all, because like if something happens to you, everyone else we're fucked. You know what I mean? Like we need you in that power level. You know what I mean? Like we need someone to hate. You know, like, to get better at what we're gonna do. You know.
So I was like, you know, it's like, I mean, it's like always horny, always trying to get some, always wanting to get laid, look up, romance, you know. And she was like, wait, I don't understand. Why isn't it hungry then? And I was like, oh my god, like that is so advanced. You need to run for president with Kanye West in 2020. You're obviously like way ahead of the game. Yeah, so speaking of thirsty, there's this guy that I was really trying to get with. He's like this guy walking away right now. Just like, love unavailable men. Come back. No, he was like really fine. Like there's like no word to, like he's really sexy and like tall and like built but not too built, but he was also like a really good guy. He like cares about like women and minorities and stuff and like social politics. Yeah, you like actually want to Netflix and chill with him after you Netflix and chill with him, you know? So I've been like casting him in my videos because that's how I would hit on people. And then he like invited me to this pajama party at his apartment. I know. And we're 28, so that's weird. But I'm not gonna like judge the gift that the goddesses have dropped in front of me. He's having a pajama party at his apartment. I'm gonna go get laid. Like that's exactly what's gonna go happen. So I get all dressed up, I'm all ready. I look like casually sexy. And I get there and there's like a DJ. It's a great party. I haven't been to an apartment party in like years. And we're dancing and we're flirting and I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna get it. This is great. Like I'm gonna get fucked and it's gonna be awesome. And then at 2 a.m. he's like talking to me and these two white chicks who were not competition, and he's like, yeah, I don't know, man, I'm just shutting down that whole part of my life, you know, I'm just not into that, I'm not gonna date, I'm not gonna, you know, like hook up or anything. And I was like, wait, one, you can do that, and two, what? Like not even like to make out drunkenly with a girl at a party, for instance? And he's like, no, I'm really happy. And I'm like, what the fuck did I come to Brooklyn for then? And he was like, is that why you came here? I thought we were friends. Like, I thought this was cool. And I'm like, no, I'm having a great time. This was great. I really enjoy your company. I'm gonna go. It was embarrassing. I actually legit yelled at him, but I don't like to be denied, dude. It was upsetting. That sounds like a rapist thing, but no. I just was frustrated. I wore camisole. Anyway, I sent him an email the next day. We're good. But like, what is that? That's such like a privilege. He's in the comedy scene too, so he like, that's such a hot guy New York thing to do. To be like, oh, you know what? I'm just gonna focus on me right now, just like chill. Like maybe when I'm 35, I'll like pick it back up again. Because you know that like as soon as he opens those gates, his like fortress will be stormed by like just hundreds of hot, sexy, talented, funny pussies. Like there's no struggle there. Like some of us are not that lucky. Like I know, blah, ladies, whatever, like fuck, like even just gravity and time. Like I have an ex-boyfriend's like wedding in 6 months that I need to go to that I can't go alone to, you know? I mean, I'm 28. And this is not the time to just hang out and chill and focus on me. I'm hitting the first wave of divorces, you know? It's game time. This is like what I've been practicing for my whole life. You guys don't get that, but divorced men are the best men. They've been broken in. Your spirits are broken. I'm everything your ex-wife wasn't. I'm serious, it works.
Neighborhood, by the way, where I got my ass kicked every single day, so thank you very much about that, okay? And I didn't mind getting beaten up by the black guys because they spoke English. It was the Spanish guys I had a problem with, because I don't speak Spanish. You know how disconcerting it is getting your ass kicked in a language you don't understand? They're like, mucho ganda pantalones. I'm like, what's he saying? I got my ass kicked because my pants were too big. That's not fair. What else is happening? I just moved here from Jersey into New York, and I live in the Trump building, so yeah. Woo! Yes, thank you. I live there because I have a friend that's a doctor, and they let me live there. Yeah, I also drive his Jag and his wife's, yeah, so I'm like one of those white guys that have privilege but didn't earn it, which is nice. I actually grew up white trash, believe it or not, and my grandmother speaks with an English accent, so I thought we were wealthy. Because the English accent makes everything sound better. Like, we wake up in the morning in my house, my grandmother would be like, good morning, children. Of the welfare checks in. They are excellent. Pull the pinto around back. We're going for a jaunt. I'm like, Grandma, are we going to the park? The park? We live in the park. We're going for Budweiser. Marlboros and Fritos. It was like a white trash continental breakfast. That's what it was. Yeah, we did. We grew up on everything. We grew up on the fruit, because my grandmother is awesome. My grandmother raised us. We all lived with my grandmother. 15 of us lived with my grandmother. She was like the matriarch of the family. So she ran everything, but she's a lunatic. She's very politically incorrect. I have a brother on steroids. She wants me to get on steroids. She's like, you just gotta get on steroids. Like, brother, get on the juice. I'm like, Grandma, steroids are bad for you. Really? Look at your brother's abs. They're delicious. Like, Grandma, steroids make you angry and violent. Shut up! Before I punch your face. She's crazy, that one. What else did she do? We were watching that, there was a commercial, and it was a commercial, I don't know what the medication was, but this girl comes on, she says, so, you know, she goes, now that I've been taking whatever, my belly is flatter than it was when I was a teenager. And my sister said, she goes, yeah, well, my belly's flatter now than I was a teenager. And my grandma said, that's because you were pregnant throughout your teens. Makes sense. Of course you were flatter now.
President. First of all, I want Hillary because, let's face it, she has been president before. She's experienced, right? And we will always balance the budget because women are not afraid of using coupons at all. But the real reason is because other than one woman that we know about, no women are serial killers. I know it's a stretch, like why does it have to do it? It means a lot to me. Like Hillary should be like, vote for me, we're not serial killers. Like, and the thing is, if there are female serial killers that we don't even know about, then I'm really voting for a woman because that means we're really smart, we can get away with it. Like, so, that's why I want a woman president. So, I have good news actually. 3 weeks ago, my husband and I brought home a beautiful little girl. And I think I look pretty good after 3 weeks. Thank you. Well, she's 17, so. She's our niece. We have custody now, but I still think I look pretty good. So, and she looks just like me when I was 17, like exactly. She raids my closet. She wears my clothes. I don't care. I'm in awe of her. Like I look at her in my clothes and I'm like, wow, I was really hot. And I hear things in the house I don't want to hear. You know, things like, you're not the boss of me. You know, you're not my mother. You can't tell me what to do. And I told my husband, I'm like, stop saying that. Kids are like sponges. You know, she'll repeat. You know. And my friends they're happy for me, but they're a little sad. You know, they all have like babies and toddlers, and they're like, oh, you missed the baby stage. I'm like, really? I missed it? Apparently you've never seen a 17-year-old drunk. You know, they spit out, they babble, you know, they wobble when they walk. My niece came home from a party, and I'm like, honey, are you drunk? And she's like, yes, ma'am. I'm like, oh my God, why? Don't do that. And she's like, listen, we live in America with freedoms of speeches and freedoms to get Ebola. And I was like, oh, wow, she learned a new word. I was so proud.
Kate hates this. She's like, oh, fuck. I want to just be like, leave this to those of us who had to develop a personality, okay? Get on stage. Just go. There's also like a lot of roast battles that are really popular. Comedy Fight Club, roast battles. I keep getting asked to do those, but I keep saying no, and the reason is because if I want to be called fat by a moron, I'll just call my mom. I don't need them. Do you think people in third world countries use affirmations? Like, I deserve to eat today. The entire Western world is conspiring to shower me with blessings. This isn't rice, this is steak. No, that one doesn't work. I'll think of another affirmation for starving children. Or where they say, like, that's not a stomach that's distended from malnutrition. That's fat. No, I don't know. Alright, we'll work on that one. I really like the word cunt. I'm a big fucking fan of the word cunt. And I think it kind of gets a bad rap. But one of the reasons I like it is because, like, I don't feel like there's a good alternative word for, like, this whole area. Like, none of them work, right? Like, if you have a pussy, you're most likely just someone who's going to be eaten by pussies after you die. Or, like, every time I hear the word vagina, I just, like, imagine it's being said by, like, a 10-year-old autistic boy with asthma. I'd like to see your vagina. And I like cunt. I am a fan of it, but I do think it can send the wrong message. So, like, if I say to a guy, I want you to fuck me in the cunt, what he hears is, I want you to punch me in the face while you're coming. And then there's just like the really bad ones like axe wound and wizard sleeve, like just no. We need a good name for that. I think like that's like what's keeping women back too, is like we also need a good, I don't think women will ever be equal to men until we have like a good word for vaginal discharge. Like men have semen, like we need a cool name for sea women. So like jizz, I was thinking maybe we could call it Ms. And then just actually spell it MS period. Which would make that magazine by Gloria Steinem a lot more popular.
To comment on my outfits, like, I much prefer the other shirt you were wearing, like, last week. And I'm like, oh yeah, because I was getting dressed thinking of you, Tom. Why don't you smile more? Because I'm stuck talking to you for $1 a Yingling. This is the worst therapy gig ever. Like, fuck you. And I'm not even a feminist. I'm not. Like, I think I'm a modern woman because I once had anal sex while watching the Mary Tyler Moore pilot. And I wish I was making that up. But I'm on the spectrum. But so this really bothered me the other week. Like, I couldn't get it out of my head. And it's very likely I could die with only a cat for company. But I think I would still prefer that to dying alone in a strip club wearing sweatpants. You know? I think. Okay, I'm glad that you know, it's weird because and some of you who have been to my shows are like know that my fan base is like mostly over the age of 60 and mental ill. Like if there were ever to be a meeting, like a fan club meetup, they would have to build definitely a handicap ramp. Like, just to put it in perspective, the only celebrity that ever sexually objectified me was the guy that sings "Sailing," Christopher Cross. If you thought he looked bad in the '80s. Yeah. I don't know. So that was my beef. But basically, this guy was talking about using 40-year-old vaginal lips as punching bags, and it was a really horrible image. So I said that if I woke up next to him in 5 years, I would pull a Sylvia's Plath and stick my head in the oven. And he didn't like that.